friends, this is Julie Tillman. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is part of a giveaway hop with the Not Too Shabby Design team. We're all sharing inspiration with the December subscription products, which is a cute Valentine theme. There's so many goodies this month. Check the description box for the prize info and a collaboration playlist of all the stops on the hop. I'm playing with the Paper Pad Club this month, and it has two 6x6 pattern paper packs, the Valentine Mice and Love and Kisses. Love and Kisses has a bunch of solids and patterns, and I just love that for card making. It is one of my favorite kinds of paper pads to use because it's just so easy to coordinate things. There's also a stamp of the month. It is the Sweetheart Critters, and I just love those little mice with the balloons, and there's a bunny and an owl and a bunch of Valentine sentiments. So lots of fun. We also have an add-on Valentine Critters ephemera, and this has tons of sweet little critters and some roses and gifts, heart balloons. I just love these little critters, and a lot of them you get two of, so that's really fun that you don't have to worry about running out. You can keep one and give one, so that is a lot of fun. So that's what's in our Paper Pad Club this month. You can subscribe to just the papers, or add on the ephemera, or get the I Want It All and get the stamp of the month as well. When you subscribe, you secure your spot, so you're guaranteed to get your papers, and you also get a little discount, so that's always nice, especially right now in this economy. You can purchase the Paper Pad Club items individually as a one-time purchase. The Paper Pad Club papers come the first month. They are only available as a pair, and then after that they'll be available individually, and then you can purchase both the ephemera add-on and the stamp set as a one-time purchase as well. All right, let's get on to making. So I've been feeling a little bit under the weather for going on 3 weeks now. I am actually finally, I think, rounding the corner, but my creative energy is quite a bit lower than normal. So I decided for today I'm going to go back to one of my favorite ways to get those juices flowing, which is a card sketch. So I pulled out an old Mojo Monday sketch of mine, and this is week 168. So December 2010, 15 years ago. So what I look for when I look at this sketch is, okay, what kind of an image can I put here? This has a pretty large area that I can put an image. And then what can I change? I'm very much a not do the same card over and over again kind of person. Some people are. I have no problem with that. It's just not what I enjoy doing. So I look for something to change, kind of alter the sketch a little bit. This time I'm going to keep it pretty close to the original, but I chose, I knew I wanted to use this stamp set, which is the stamp of the month, Sweetheart Critters, and they're so cute. I've already used the mice, and I don't like owls, so that one's out. So that left the bunny, and he's perfect because he's facing in this direction. So I cut him out on a rectangle and stamped and then colored him with Copics. And then I chose for my thing to change is instead of a square, I'm going to do a little die cut heart, and I embossed the Be Mine sentiment from the stamp set onto that heart tag. And then everything else I'm probably going to keep the same. I might change these out depending on how it looks, because I'm actually going to use pattern paper here. But first off, what I wanted to do is, let's see if I've got my stuff. I made a little mask for this bunny because, let's see, let me put it on. Apparently I can't line up and talk at the same time. The papers that I chose, I chose some gold because I have gold ribbon out already, and I knew it would be kind of hard to match the right red here. So I just decided to keep it simple and go with gold. So I have a gold mat that I cut for this one, and then I chose this paper from the Loves and Kisses paper pad. And so it is kind of a cream, and I've already stamped onto white. So I am going to kind of alter the colors a little bit with some distress inks. So now that we've got our little game plan, I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. I am going to do a little watermark stamping with VersaMark ink. This is just like a watermark ink. It can be any clear ink pad. And it's just going to do a subtle backdrop for my ink blending. I have this on a little craft mat, and I am just drying that just a little bit just to make sure that the ink isn't going to smudge. And then I'm going in with my larger brush. I'm trying to do a kind of a glow around that little bunny. So I'm going to leave some white space, but I'm going to go in like mostly inward with that antique linen, and then I'm going to go around with a smaller brush with the Vintage Photo Distress ink. And that distress ink, the Vintage Photo, is going to pick up some of that little heart detail. I realized after I had already started that the look that I was actually going for was I wanted the hearts to pick up the distress photo more, and that would have worked a little better if I had inked with antique linen and then blended over it with the Vintage Photo. But it all works. That's how stamping goes. Sometimes it works out the way you want it. Other times it's just a little subtle backdrop. I know it's there and it adds just a little bit of texture, so I'm not mad at it. And then I'm going to just clean off that little surface real quick and put my card base. I'm making an A2 card today. And I'm just gonna quickly go in with those same colored inks to just give that color to the white so that the white isn't going to clash with that cream paper that we're going to be using. So now that I have all my ink blending done, I'm going to take this rectangle of pattern paper, and I'm going to lay that onto my gold foil mat. My brain is not working today. And I cut both mats from the same piece of paper, and this is really thin gold foil, so I'm not worried about there being like unlevel papers because it's really thin. But it's really great for die cutting. So there is the little heart, and I decided I wanted to add another heart behind it just to give it a little bit more thickness and stand it up just a bit. So one of the things I love about sketches is it just allows you to not worry about the design. You usually have a great design layout. Somebody has thought about how all the elements coordinate together, and you can just kind of take the inspiration, change the things you want, make it your own. But it's a great way to learn how to card make. Like one of the things that actually got me like really into stamping was card sketches, and I enjoy making my own layouts, but I also liked that, just like figuring out my own style by figuring out which way I wanted to change things. And as you do more and more sketches, you kind of start to get that feeling of, you know, how do I balance out a layout, like so that things aren't feeling off kilter one way or the other. So I have the bunny facing one way, and then I have the heart up top, which is going to just kind of balance out that rectangle, which is off-centered, which adds a little bit of interest. So I added a little bit of adhesive tape to that gold ribbon, and now I am just going to pop that heart up with a little more foam tape because I wanted a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to pull out my Fabri-Tac and add that on. Add a little bit of a bow and just stick that down really good. I like Fabri-Tac for adding the ribbon, but you could use whatever glue you want. I'm also going to use a little white glue, just adhesive glue that dries clear, to train those ribbon ends, and I really like doing that, and I just think it adds a finished touch. And now I am just going for the embellishments. I don't think there's enough room. There's definitely not enough room on the pattern paper. It would be too busy, but I don't think there's enough room down there on the bottom, so I decided to change those hearts from the sketch up to a vertical from the corner, and I think that gives a nice nice finished look to everything. And there is the finished card. Oh, I decided that I needed sparkle, which is pretty common for me. So I'm going to go in with some glossy accents, and I'm just adding that to the hearts. And then I'm going to pull out some fine, ultra fine glitter and sprinkle that on. I tapped it off, and now I'm going back in with a little glossy accents just to put some on the nose, because I didn't want the nose to sparkle, but I wanted the hearts to sparkle. So there we have our finished card. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I hope you were inspired. There is a playlist below to all of the other designers on the Hop, so be sure to check that out. I will also have affiliate links below to the products. I so appreciate when you use my links to shop. It always helps me create new content. Thanks so much again, and I will catch you on the next one.